Welcome to today's video. In this session, we're diving into Chapter 1 of Eckhart Tolle's transformative book, The Power of Now, titled You Are Not Your Mind. This chapter introduces the powerful idea that we are not defined by our thoughts. Tolle explores how most of us live unconsciously, trapped by the constant flow of mental chatter that keeps us disconnected from the present moment. He reveals how the mind, the ego, and unresolved emotional pain can control our lives, and shows us how to break free through mindfulness and awareness. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your thoughts or struggled to find peace, this video will guide you toward understanding how to live more fully in the now. The mind is not who we truly are. Before we dive deep in the chapter, take a second and think, what's the one fear holding you back from taking action on your ideas? Keep that fear in mind and let's get started. At number 1, we have the dominance of the mind. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle highlights the dominance of the mind, explaining that many people live their lives unconsciously, allowing their minds to control their thoughts and actions. The mind is constantly active, creating a stream of thoughts that can be focused on past events, future worries, or self-judgments. Tolle points out that most people are so identified with these thoughts that they fail to recognize the mental noise for what it is, simply a collection of fleeting mental images and voices. This mental activity prevents individuals from fully experiencing the present moment and leads to a lack of inner peace. The constant bombardment of thoughts often causes unnecessary stress, anxiety, and emotional suffering, as the mind typically focuses on problems, fears, and unresolved issues. According to Tolle, by becoming aware of this mental dominance and stepping back from identification with the mind, we can begin to break free from this constant cycle and experience a deeper, more peaceful state of being rooted in the present. Number 2, the voice in your head. Eckhart Tolle delves into the concept of the voice in your head, referring to the continuous inner dialogue or monologue that most people experience throughout their daily lives. This internal voice often speaks in a critical, judgmental, or repetitive manner, and is driven by thoughts about the past, future, and our identities. Tolle explains that many people are so used to this voice that they mistake it for their true self, identifying with it as if it defines who they are. However, this constant mental chatter creates a sense of disconnection from the present moment and keeps individuals trapped in cycles of worry, anxiety, and self-doubt. The voice in your head often reinforces negative emotions, focusing on problems, regrets, or fears. Tolle encourages readers to observe this voice without judgment, realizing that it is just a mental construct and not an accurate reflection of their true being. By becoming aware of the voice without identifying with it, people can create a space of stillness and detachment, allowing them to reconnect with the present moment and their deeper sense of consciousness. Number 3 is the enemy to almost everyone, the ego. Eckhart Tolle explains the concept of the ego as the false sense of self that is created by the mind. The ego is not our true essence, but rather a mental construct built on identification with thoughts, memories, emotions, and external roles. It thrives on the past and the future, constantly reflecting on past experiences or worrying about future outcomes. The ego creates a sense of separation from others and from the present moment, focusing on comparison, judgment, and personal identity. Tolle argues that the ego feeds on external validation, recognition, and material success, but it can never be fully satisfied because it is always seeking more. This constant striving leads to a sense of emptiness, dissatisfaction, and inner conflict. The ego also tends to resist change and is often the source of negative emotions such as fear, anger, and jealousy. Tolle emphasizes that by becoming aware of the ego and recognizing it as a mental construct, we can begin to disidentify from it and experience a deeper connection to our true, unchanging essence. By transcending the ego, we can experience a sense of inner peace and presence, free from the constant mental noise and sense of separation. Number 4, the illusion of the past and future. Eckhart Tolle explores the illusion of the past and future, explaining that both are mental constructs, not tangible realities. The past is gone and the future has not yet arrived, yet most people live their lives mentally trapped in these time frames. The mind tends to dwell on past memories, regrets, or mistakes, or it worries about future events, anxieties, and fears. By doing so, people miss the only moment that is real, the present. Tolle argues that the past and future are illusions because they exist only in the mind. They are not concrete realities we can touch or experience in the now. The past is merely a collection of memories and interpretations, while the future is a series of projections or fantasies. When we focus too much on these mental concepts, we disconnect from the present moment, which is the only true experience we can have. By learning to be present and aware of the now, we free ourselves from the constant pull of the past and future, experiencing peace and clarity. Tolle emphasizes that the only time we can live is in the present, and true happiness and fulfillment can only be found when we stop living in our minds and start living in the moment. Do you relate to any of what we just outlined? If yes, you definitely need to stay tuned until number 7, you won't want to miss it. Let's move on to number 5. Mindfulness and awareness. Mindfulness and awareness is an essential tool for transcending the dominance of the mind and experiencing inner peace. Mindfulness, in this context, refers to the practice of being fully present and consciously aware of the moment without judgment or distraction. Tolle encourages readers to observe their thoughts and emotions as they arise, without getting caught up in them or identifying with them. By becoming aware of the constant stream of thoughts, individuals can create a gap between themselves and the mind. This gap allows them to experience a sense of stillness and presence, where the mind is not dominating their consciousness. Tolle explains that mindfulness helps break the cycle of mental patterns, allowing people to detach from the ego, past pain, and future anxieties. By practicing awareness, one becomes more attuned to the present moment, free from the mental noise that typically clouds perception. This awareness brings clarity and peace because it shifts focus away from the relentless flow of thoughts, enabling people to experience life more directly and fully. Tolle teaches that through consistent mindfulness, we can access a deeper, more expansive state of consciousness, one that is not shaped by past memories or future expectations but rooted in the here and now. This awareness fosters a profound sense of connection to both the self and the world around us. 6. The pain body. Eckhart Tolle introduces the concept of the pain body, which he describes as an emotional energy field that stores all the unresolved pain, trauma, and negative emotions from past experiences. The pain body is not just a memory or thought. It is an accumulated form of emotional energy that can be triggered and reactivated by certain situations, thoughts, or feelings. Tolle explains that when this pain body is triggered, it can take over a person's thoughts and emotions, creating negative reactions, such as anger, fear, sadness, or even physical discomfort. The pain body thrives on negative emotions and seeks to perpetuate itself by feeding on mental patterns of suffering. It may arise in response to current situations, but its roots lie in unresolved emotional pain from the past, often dating back to childhood or past traumatic experiences. When the pain body is active, it distorts perceptions, making everything seem more intense, negative, and painful than it actually is. Tolle argues that the key to overcoming the pain body is becoming aware of it. By observing it without judgment, you can begin to disidentify from it. This means recognizing that you are not the pain body. It is just an emotional accumulation of past suffering. When you stop feeding it through your thoughts and reactions, it gradually loses its power. Awareness is the first step in diminishing the pain body's control, as it allows you to break free from the cycle of emotional reactivity and return to a state of inner peace. Tolle suggests that when the pain body is triggered, rather than reacting in the usual way, you should practice being present and simply observe the sensations, thoughts, or emotions that arise without attaching to them. By doing this, you can transform the energy of the pain body and prevent it from continuing to control your life. Through this process, you can begin to heal from the emotional baggage of the past, freeing yourself from the power of the pain body and reconnecting with your true, peaceful nature. 7. The shift in perception. The shift in perception is a fundamental transformation in how we view ourselves, the world, and our relationship with the mind. This shift involves moving from identification with the ego and mental thought patterns to a deeper awareness of the present moment. Tolle emphasizes that the mind, driven by the ego, often creates a false sense of self based on past experiences and future expectations. People become so attached to their thoughts, memories, and roles that they forget their true essence, which is beyond the mind. The shift in perception happens when we begin to disidentify from the mind and recognize that we are not our thoughts or emotions. Instead of seeing ourselves as separate, isolated beings defined by mental patterns and the ego, we begin to experience a deeper sense of unity and presence. This shift allows us to access a state of stillness and awareness, where we are fully engaged with the present moment, free from the constant pull of past regrets or future worries. Tolle explains that this shift in perception can bring about a sense of inner peace and freedom. By becoming more aware of our thoughts without identifying with them, we create a space between our consciousness and the mental noise. This awareness enables us to transcend the ego's grip, allowing us to experience life as it truly is, without the distortion of the mind's judgments or desires. As we cultivate this awareness, we reconnect with our deeper, timeless essence, what Tolle refers to as the being or presence within us. This shift not only transforms our relationship with ourselves, but also our relationship with others and the world around us. By living more in the now and less in the mind, we experience a profound sense of peace, joy, and freedom from the mental patterns that once controlled our lives. This shift in perception is essential for finding inner peace. When we are no longer consumed by the mind's chatter or controlled by the ego, we can experience true freedom. Tolle explains that when we detach from the mind and embrace the present moment, we align ourselves with the deeper flow of life. This state of presence brings profound peace and joy. Before we go, just know, we are not our minds, thoughts, egos, or emotional pain. These are just mental constructs that cloud our true essence. The key to overcoming them and experiencing true peace lies in mindfulness, awareness, and living fully in the present moment. By breaking free from the constant mental chatter, we can begin to reconnect with our deeper sense of self, that place of stillness, clarity, and inner peace. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you resonated with any of the ideas we covered today, take a moment to reflect on how you can begin to apply them in your life. Whether it's observing your thoughts, detaching from your ego, or simply being more present in your daily interactions, every little step counts. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment sharing your thoughts or experiences, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more content like this. We'd love to hear how you're exploring mindfulness and living in the now. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay present. I'll see you in the next video.